Every animal here has a story. Every donation tells a tale of hope. The Humane Society of Charlotte transforms lives, bringing second chances and brighter futures to animals in need.
I was fostering a dog at the time, and I was reached out to from the Humane Society of Charlotte about transferring that dog to HSC. I started following them, and that's how I came across Specter's bio. I saw this grumpy looking cat. I laughed, I cried. It was gut-wrenchingly beautifully written, and I fell in love with the first word, basically.
When I was fostering Specter, I posted on my Instagram about his story and his bio and everything, and she reached out and was just like, hey, I need to know more about this cat. And then it kind of took it from there.
He just laid over right on his belly, and it was meant to be. I knew when I read the bio, even before meeting him, that I wanted him. I needed him. I wanted to give him his best lost life.
It was her eyes that drew me into her. I love the senior dogs. So that was the other part that drew me to her story. So I reached out, I'm like, I gotta have her. As soon as I brought her home, she settled right in. And I saw a moment of her and my first dog, Callie, she lay down right next to Callie, and they were facing each other, almost looking at each other. And I started having anxiety, and I'm like, no, I can't let her go. And then I reached out to HSC, and I'm like, I can't let her go. Is it possible to adopt her?
Specter was heartworm positive at that time. He had 3 live heartworms, FIV positive in hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, and now with asthma. So my concern is I wanted to make sure I was going to continue his medical care.
With heartworms, there's no treatment for cats. We balance a lot anytime we have a medical case. We look at several things. Cost of care is one of those. We also are obviously looking at his quality of life. Is he not only comfortable, but is he also appearing to enjoy his life? And he was. His personality really kind of solidified a lot of those decisions. He was super happy to be here. He was such a ham. He made anybody love him that met him.
With Ginger Sue, we had a client who was receiving assistance through our pet food bank for quite a while. So we were able to help fill that gap in need for pet food and supplies. And as life circumstances happened and it got to a point where that client could no longer care for Ginger Sue, we were then able to kind of meet that need, have those conversations, and then present a non-judgmental space for being able to surrender and accept Ginger Sue into our program here.
Jen was like, I have to foster this dog. And she was kennel stressed here, so we had a need for it, and she wasn't getting a ton of interest just as a senior dog. So Jen stepped up immediately, especially knowing that it was such a close connection with her pet food bank volunteering. And then the rest was history with those two.
They're all special in their own right, and they all have a place in your heart. But sometimes you just come across a special one that they're meant to be part of yours.
For animals like Specter that are coming into our care, seeing specialists, working with our vet team, it's so important for those animals to have that funding that we can do that. With Specter's adoption, we were fortunate enough to be able to provide a voucher for care beyond adoption as well.
After I had adopted him, I was able to continue his medical care because of that. It eased that concern for me.
Don't count the seniors out just because they're old, just because age is but a number. Every animal deserves the love and affection of an owner. And it is a commitment, but you get so much more back.
There's power in people's kindness. There's power in donations, because you may not always see where it actually goes, but it saves lives.
A lot of what we did for Specter came out of our Have a Heart Fund, which is entirely donor supported. Without the donors, we wouldn't be able to do those kinds of things.
Thank you. It is because of donors that Specter has a fighting chance. And again, he's an absolute true testament to the kindness and the willingness to fight for animals. And he's alive still because of donors.
Every dollar counts. HSC does everything they can to provide the best level of care for every animal in their care.
Tonight, you can make a difference. Your support can provide hope, healing, and love for animals like Specter and Ginger Sue, who simply need a chance.